Who is responsible for Taiwan's defense?
Part 128.
Formulation number 2, Territorial Cession ABCD chart.
This is the preliminary structure for formulation number 2, which is the Territorial Cession chart.
We have already compiled a full set of labels. In order to render formulation number 2, we can copy our labels directly over from formulation number 1.
However, the labels for point B should be changed to Peace Treaty comes into force, Cession by Treaty, Point of Cession.
Formulation number 2, labels for the points WB, A, B, C, and Area D.
WB.
War begins, beginning of hostilities.
A.
Surrender ceremonies, end of hostilities, beginning of military government.
B.
Peace treaty comes into force, Cession by treaty, point of cession.
C.
End of the military government of the legal occupier, end of interim status.
D.
Final status after the end of the military occupation, civil government operations begin.
In the Spanish-American War, 4 insular areas were liberated from Spanish sovereignty by United States military forces. Disposition of these insular areas was made in the peace treaty. Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines were ceded to the United States.
Cuba was left under the administrative authority of the United States military government until final determination of its political status could be made.
We can make a summary chart for these 4 territorial cessions.
The significance of the different regions is given as follows.
Point A to point C.
This is the military occupation period, which corresponds to the period when military government administrative authority is active. The territory may be said to be in interim status under the laws of occupation. The legal occupier is responsible for the defensive needs of the occupied territory, area.
Point A to point B.
This is the period of belligerent occupation. During this period, in the case of Puerto Rico, the Philippines, Guam, and Cuba, the international position of each was an independent customs territory under USMG on Spanish soil. The U.S. Commander-in-Chief can appoint a U.S. military governor for the territory, area.
Point B to point C.
This is the period of friendly occupation, also called the civil affairs administration of a military government. During this period, in the case of Puerto Rico, the Philippines, Guam, and Cuba, the international position of each is unincorporated territory under USMG. Fundamental rights under the U.S. Constitution for local residents are applicable beginning here.
Notably, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the right to obtain travel documents, that is, passports, is a part of the liberty of the Fifth Amendment.
The U.S. Commander-in-Chief and his advisors should begin to deliberate the desired timetable for achieving a final status of the territory, area.
Area D.
This is the final status after the end of the military occupation. Civil government operations are inaugurated.